Hey everybody, and welcome to Backseat Sports. I'm Josh, and that is Caleb, and man, we are talking about Nebraska versus Troy and reviewing Nebraska versus Colorado today in this video. Man, there's a lot to talk about, obviously, because, oh man, it was a rough one. Nebraska basically blew it and handed the game to the Buffaloes. Really should not have lost that one, man. Whew.
No, that was, we did a lot of things good, but way too many things wrong. When you turn over the ball 3 times and the turnover, and it's, you know, -3 on the turnover ratio,
Just painful.
you're not going to win games. And
No.
that just against anybody, that's how that's going to work. And then also the 2 turnovers on downs don't help either. Martinez then goes down. There was some really untimely fumbles too, like with with Martinez's second one.
I mean, we fumbled on their side of the field, then we fumbled on our side of the field.
Yeah.
We gave up. We probably would have scored on that first drive, and we fumble. So we're giving away points. I mean, at the end of the day, we just gave away opportunities throughout the whole game. 2 fumbles, an interception, 2 turnovers on downs, a missed field goal, and the Antonio Reed personal foul. The Stanley Morgan dropped touchdown. The J.D. Spielman dropped first down. There's just a lot of mistakes in the game, specifically offensively, that just... you could tell that it was our first game of the year. We were rusty. We came out really rusty. And in that first half, our defense looked really beatable. But by the beginning of the second half and in the middle of the game there, our defense looked great, really fast, really fiery, really passionate, gang tackling all over the field. And I was really happy with how that turned out.
Yeah. It was kind of interesting. Our offense seemed really, really good at the beginning of the game. Obviously, the fumbles, but we were a lot more explosive. And then towards toward the end of the game, it was the defense that was much more impressive than
for sure.
So it kind of flip-flopped. Stanley Morgan's touchdown catch that he dropped, I think at that point, I didn't think we were going to win the game. Our offense in that second half couldn't get past the 35-yard line, really. And so,
I know. It was just painful.
Yeah, I mean, we drove the ball, 35 yards, and then we sat there. And then once a great pass, and we didn't really throw the ball too many times. Martinez only threw it 20 times, which made a lot of sense because it was his first game. Trying to get him comfortable into the game.
Right.
And clearly that showed, because there was his pick was a really obvious don't throw it. And he did.
Yeah, for sure.
So it makes sense. There was a lot of one option throws for him. So, throw it to this guy and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, Frost said that going into this first game of the year that it was going to be a little bit simpler playbook than what he hopes to have throughout the season and in the future. I didn't expect him to expect too much from Martinez heading into this game, but Martinez really delivered. He looked great throughout the whole game. He ran the read option really well, the triple option well, and he made the throws that he really needed to make for most of the game to put us into a good position to win. Just those early mistakes and then that interception were just so costly. And it left me extremely hopeful heading to the future, because I think Martinez is going to be an absolute stud. But at the end of the day, the biggest question of the whole game was Martinez's injury at the end of the game. With having no true second-string quarterback, the injury obviously is really scary for Nebraska, and let's see what we have going forward. But, well, I don't know. What do you think of the injury?
It was a dirty play. He was already down and tackled, and then it was a few seconds later that the other guy just came in and jumped on him. Colorado did that the whole game though. They were them old gross selves that you really hate. Like they didn't change one bit over there. They're just disgusting. And you just don't like them. We outplayed them by so much. We had 200 more yards offense than them. Our defense had against 7 sacks. We did everything except turnovers. I mean, the turnover battle is the biggest part of football. So
yeah, I guess when it comes down to Martinez's injury, he walked off the field after the game with help from a trainer with ice on his knee. And yesterday he was seen at a youth camp with a sleeve on his knee, so nobody really knows the extent of his injury yet. Kind of the opinions and what Scott Frost was saying is that he was pretty optimistic about it. So
yeah, he said
that's kind of the sense we were
semi-optimistic.
getting. Right. He said it was, better news than not, I guess. So
yeah,
in my expert opinion, I'm thinking it's some sort of like sprained MCL or some type of minor sprain where it's going to bother him for a few weeks, where he might be able to play on Saturday. More than likely, I don't think we're going to see him, and we're going to make sure he's healthy for our kickoff of the Big Ten action.
Yeah, I'd agree. That one play action pass touchdown that he had was so nice.
Oh, and the bomb.
And then the bomb that he just put on a rope to Spielman. That was, oh my goodness,
so nice. Dude, that's the type of stuff that gets me extremely excited for the future.
Yeah.
I mean, like right when Martinez had that big touchdown run in Taylor Martinez's first game, you know, and that first drive, was that the first snap?
It was his first play. Yeah.
He had that first. Yeah, it was the first play. He had that huge touchdown run. Martinez in his first game has that big touchdown run. Ironic, you know, that they're both named Martinez. They have big touchdown runs in their first game. So a little bit of symbolism there. At the end of the day, I'm hopeful for our offense going forward. It's an extremely positive game for me in a lot of ways.
It started out to be like what I thought the defense would be, like really ugly in spots, and then it actually turned out to be better than I expected. With the pass rush.
Sure. The speed was really what stood out to me.
Yeah, the big stat that everybody's, you know, throwing around is, you know, we only had 14 sacks last year and we had 7 in this one game. And I think, yeah, we'll definitely have more than 14 sacks this year. But it was just nice to see. We were throwing out blitzes a lot more than we had under Mike Riley at all. You know, and we were throwing a lot of different combinations, a lot of linebacker blitzes, and
in that first half on third down, we were just like blitzing every single time.
Yeah, I mean,
it took them a while to figure out how to actually cover it because they were getting smoked on third down in that first half.
Nothing is more exciting, I think, than when it's a third down and we can get them 3 and out, and there's a sack in Memorial Stadium.
Oh, it's so
and the
nice.
Crowd just explodes. Yeah, that was something I haven't felt a while, and it was really nice to have, and everybody gets super hype and with a sack, and so just to have that happen a lot of times was really fun, and that was really encouraging. And our linebackers actually looked pretty good on the corners, you know, for the most part.
Definitely.
We had some closing speed, which was good to see.
Muhammad Berry looked great.
Muhammad Berry was really impressive, and Luke Gifford was really impressive last year, and
of course,
he was doing more.
That's what we were expecting.
Yeah, and he was doing more of the same, a lot of tackles. So that was really good to see. So there was a lot of good things, and a lot of those defensive players each had, like on the line, had a lot of good moments where they each kind of stepped up and took over.
Yeah. I mean, Colorado only averaged 1.3 yards per rush.
Yeah, and
they were getting absolutely plastered. They only had 44 rushing yards.
Yeah, in the first half they had negative 8 rushing yards in the half or something like that. It was great.
I mean, at the end of the day, Colorado's playmakers offensively was the difference. I mean, Laviska Shenault at the end of the day made the game-changing play, put Colorado ahead, and he had a fantastic game all game long. And I mean, again, Colorado utilized him to the best of their ability, and he was probably the biggest reason for why Nebraska ended up losing.
Well, I mean, besides ourselves, I mean,
sure,
we lost the game more than they won the game. We handed it to them. Oh, so many turnovers.
I know, it's painful.
That's the thing that Nebraska football has to get over the hump on is turnover margin. For sure. I was surprised with how much we ran the ball.
Yeah,
Nebraska ran the ball.
I mean, personally, I wasn't that surprised by it, considering that it's Martinez's first game and trying to avoid those interceptions, you know. But
yeah,
I don't know. What was your biggest takeaway heading forward from Colorado?
Our defense is better than I thought it was going to be, and Martinez is a legitimate player. And my prediction of still, like, you know, what we can do in the Big Ten, I'm still pretty
only losing 2 games in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I'm still pretty confident that we can still beat Wisconsin in one of those Michigan State games with what I saw.
We'll see. I mean, I'm feeling good as well. I think our defense showed a lot of improvement. Our offense is going to be good this year, and we just shot ourselves in the foot being rusty from our first game. I think we're going to be great going forward and really competitive in the Big Ten. So that's all we can ask for right now, I think. So with that said, we're going to transition into Troy. So Nebraska plays Troy this Saturday. ESPN gives us an 85% chance to win. The spread is, I feel like, a little disrespectful to Nebraska. It's a 9.5-point spread, which, I mean, playing against a team like Troy generally isn't very good. Troy did go 11-2 last year, and they're in the Sun Belt Conference. They lost to Boise State already this year. Troy's a pretty interesting team because they play in the weaker conference, but they've been so dominant in it in the last few years, where they've won like 10, 11 games the last few years. So they've been extremely good. I don't know. What do you think, Caleb? How's Troy going to play out?
We'll be fine. You know, honestly, I for a while thought Andrew Bunch was the front runner for the quarterback situation. After the spring game, I thought he was the best quarterback. So
really,
yeah, he looked awesome.
I don't know. Martinez looked good in the spring game.
Well, sure, but But Andrew Bunch's throwing was really good in that spring game. And
so are you saying you're comfortable with Bunch?
Yeah, no, Ozigbo said it best after the game. He was like, you know, Andrew Bunch is a playmaker, and he makes plays. I think people will be surprised with how good he is. So I liked hearing the confidence from the teammates on that. So I think that, you know, we'll be just fine against Troy. And their quarterback Caleb Barker is only starting his 3rd game, so they have new people in it as well, and I think it's fine.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, our, you know, bigger, faster, stronger athletes at Nebraska will win out in a lot of ways, and we got 6.3 yards a carry, or 6.5 yards a carry. If that holds up to be true against Troy, I think we're gonna be just fine, and we can just
I mean, Barker was a pretty efficient passer so far this season. He's passed 65% completion, which is solid for Troy and for him. They've been a pretty fast-paced offense, and they run a lot of no huddle, so it could be a pretty quick game in Lincoln with a lot of plays ran and potentially a lot of changes of possession, a lot of scoring potentially. So at the end of the day, if we can suppress and pressure Barker in creating mistakes, I think that's going to be why we win this game and why it could potentially be a blowout.
I'll definitely be interested to see if our defense can create some turnovers. That was the one thing that they were lacking in this last game.
For sure.
Is takeaways. So I'll be interested to see the defense do that this game. The biggest X factor rests on Bunch's shoulders. How can he play?
Yep.
Obviously he was I think 4 for 9 for 47 yards, and he threw one really good pass to Tyjon Lindsey that was dropped. We have enough playmakers on the Nebraska that even if he's only Riker Fife-esque, we should be just fine.
No. Okay, so with that said, what's your score prediction, man?
I think we score more points than we did this last game. Actually, I think we'll score score like 30. We'll score 35 points, and they will score 16.
I think we're gonna score actually more points than even that. I think we're gonna put up 42. I think our offense is really gonna find some rhythm, especially our running game and our running backs are gonna find some rhythm. And I wholeheartedly believe that the QB situation will not affect us too much against Troy. I say 42-21, and a pretty significant easy win for Nebraska heading forward. So that's where I sit. That's where I sit.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be an Arkansas State game where we're going to be sweating it out the whole time.
Oh man, I really hope not. I
don't think
really,
so. I don't
really
think so.
hope not.
I don't think that's what's in store for Nebraska fans. I think you'll
for sure.
Hopefully the whole crowd. It's an 11 a.m. game, so like by noon, the whole stadium will be doing the wave. Then we'll get the double wave going. You know, just one of those
reverse wave.
Yeah, just one of those relaxed games where you can go to the concession stand as many times as you want and get a bunch of Valentino's pizza. Alrighty, everyone. If you liked our video, make sure you like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Tell us what you think. How is this game gonna go? What's your reaction to the Colorado loss? How do you feel? Are you feeling encouraged? Feeling discouraged? How's your predictions holding up thus far? And as always, I'm Caleb. That's Josh. This has been Backseat Sports, and we'll see you next video.
See ya.